What's up, guys? It's Quicksilver here, and man, I'm excited. I'm over here in my 1.7 test world that I'm using. It's not actually 1.7. I'm actually running the Snapshot 13W41B, but I guess I call it my 1.7 test world because this is where I'm doing some work on my texture pack and testing everything out to make sure it works. So I'm over here actually for two reasons. One is I want to show you something that I'm really excited about, and the other thing is I just noticed it actually is this kind of cool fog effect it looks like they've introduced. It always kind of bothered me in Minecraft when you look off into the distance and you can kind of see where the world ended, and it looks like if you look to the left side of the screen here, you can kind of see as I turn left how that mountain kind of fades out like a white fog kind of goes over it. I think that's a really cool solution to that problem that they've always kind of had here. So anyway, want to show you that, but then this is actually something I'll show you guys later. But something I'm really excited about. They've been talking about it, I think, for a long time. We've all been asking for it in the Minecraft community for a ton of time. Been a lot of April Fool's videos done about it. It might be old news to you at this point in time, but I don't know. And just in case it's not, you're seeing it here for the first time in my texture pack is stained glass. Yeah, baby. This is not a reskin of clay bricks or anything like that. They have actually given us, if I go in here to the actual creative menu, where did it hide? I forget where they put it. Is it decoration blocks? Yeah, we've got stained glass panes. We've got, where are the full-on stained glass blocks? Yeah, heck, they're somewhere in here, guys. I promise I wouldn't lie to you on this one. Anyway, I'll grab them here. If you look, when I grab that guy, it says purple stained glass is what this is actually called. Okay, so that's the problem. It just doesn't look like stained glass. This is actually it right here. All this stuff. So yeah, we've got the opacity that we've been longing for. There's still a little, kind of some glitchy weirdness. I think maybe I'm hoping they're still working on. I threw the white wool up behind it just to make the colors a little more obvious. But yeah, as you can see, like at certain angles, for some reason, it seems like the glass panels itself, or the opacity is flickering out. So I'm not sure what's causing that, but hopefully that's something they're still working on. If not, and it's still around when we go live with 1.7, I will find a way to figure that out in my texture pack. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys that. And in the meantime, we finished the Skelly farm in my last video, so I think I'm going to head back over there and we're going to get to work on the melon farm today. I mentioned last time I was going to do kind of a version of Monkey Farm's melon farm that he'd done. I think it was like his second world or something like that. But I've actually got some changes I'm going to make to that. So I guess actually before we head over there to that, I'm going to pop out of this and head over into my contraption world, and I'll show you the changes that I've made to it so you guys get an idea for what we're going to be doing. Alright guys, so here we are in my contraption world for a quick overview of this melon farm. As you can see, it doesn't look too daunting or super impressive, but I assure you it's pretty cool. My final design for this, I built this a little small. My final design will not have these pressure plates here. I'll have the water that can actually push all our melons to us. We'll stop right there. So all our drops will get neatly picked up by these hoppers and dumped into our chest. I'll give you a little aerial overview. I've actually left this side open so you can see a little better. Our water source is over here on the side. Got a bunch of redstone-y stuff going on here, and then what I'll probably end up doing is like this side is. I'll close it in. I like to leave this part still open because what I have found is that frequently you'll get melons that won't cooperate and they'll kind of pop out up here, and this just gives us a way to get up there to get to them. The theory though, when we hit this button, what happens is there's pistons above this that are going to push these glowstone lamps down really quick and crush the melons into their actual parts, and just a fraction of a second later there's also pistons below the blocks here where the melons are growing that will pull down, and that includes this little stone wall that's back here will also get pulled down, exposing our water source blocks so that that can wash all the melons down here to us. The biggest difference in what I'm doing versus what Monkey Farm has done is, I think in his he used a lever. Instead I'm going to go with a button on this thing, because what I want to do is I want to be able to run down into our Skelly farm, see, hey, there's melons there, hit this button and then go kill some skeletons, and then just come back and be able to pick up melons from this chest and not have to worry about flicking the thing off or picking anything up or anything like that. So I will show you the underbelly of this thing, and you'll see all this when I'm building it. Like I said, I'm not going to do a tutorial on this because it is Monkey Farm's design, but I will try and explain everything else that I'm doing here. So when we hit this button, what we're going to do is we're going to pull the signal down here, and I'm going to run it around into a T flip-flop, just building them old school. Never been a real big fan of the redstone repeater varieties of those things. I always seem to have better luck with these. Where is that? Oh, that's right, I got cows over there. It's like, what are those guys doing? Anyway, we'll roll it around here into an inverter, where we'll have it connect to this guy, which is actually acting as a lock on our little hopper timer here, that when the timer runs out, or rather when that unlocks, this should shift over here, causing our melon farm to act and crush this guy, and then everything will come down. And then while it's doing that, this thing will be counting all these things back, and as soon as it counts them back so that it pops back over here, we'll get a signal that'll run through here, and it'll flip our T flip-flop back and relock this guy, so that we can not have to worry about picking anything up. So if I do this, the only downside is I hit the button and there's actually a delay before this will actually do anything, because it's got to count these things over once. But then as soon as they count over, you'll see this guy will do its thing. I should have actually emptied out how many I have in here. I think I only have a stack of 64, but okay, so there we go. That's big and messy, but you can see the water pushing everything down here. And I'm not sure, like I said, there it is. Everything looks like everything is down to the end now. This pressure plate is stopping that guy from going through there, but there we go. Then that gets popped back up. And actually, that's interesting. Looks like that fixed it. And there we go. Then the melons start to regrow. Nice thing is the glowstone lamps provide plenty of light for these things to grow. And then there's all our tasty melons. They're still feeding in, it looks like, from the hoppers themselves there. So yeah, so it's a real quick, easy way for us to do that. I will actually build all this junk, try and make it a little more compact. This is my first attempt at building it, so I think I can probably get a little economy of scale in this thing. But I'll build it all one block lower, because as it stands I can't actually put the ground in place over top of the T flip-flop. So anyway, I will get all this stuff sorted out in the Let's Play world. But before I goof around anymore here, I'm going to go ahead and head back in there so we can get to work. See you in just a couple. Alright guys, so here we're back over in the Skelly farm, and as you can tell, this thing is in full swing. And man, I'll tell you, it's pretty cool. The only thing that I've noticed is you do have to be a little careful. I don't know if you noticed, there's one that just kind of glitched down into the hopper. That is a problem with having those hoppers in there. But it's one that it doesn't. I think I got shot by one for the first time about a couple of minutes ago. But yeah, so we can come in here just like we did before, and we can do this number. But what's even better is I did build my potions on demand, so we can come back here and we can take one potion and come pick up all the yummy sweet XP. And that's just so cool. I've only been letting this thing go for about 3 minutes, so obviously we didn't have a whole lot of that. I'm going to go ahead and just finish these guys off, and then I'll show you kind of what I've been doing down here. Good lord, I should just let it go, right? Alright, so there we go. There's 20 levels. That's nice. Yeah, here's the potions on demand for this thing. I've got everything labeled in here so I know what to put where to make the potions work. Obviously we need some nether wart down here, we need glistering melon, and we need gunpowder. Gunpowder's not a problem. I can pull that from my main mob farm up above. So that's easy to deal with. The only thing that's going to be a bit of a challenge then obviously is going to be the melons. So my answer to that, yeah, actually these drops, I've actually started splitting them out into these guys as well because they're getting out of control. But like I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and we're going to build the melon farm over here. I've already kind of got it roughed out. I need a space that's 6 blocks wide, which we've got right there, and ultimately we'll only see the middle 4, so I'm not too worried about that. And then same thing up to, I think we'll only see it up to 4 high, so this should be a great place for it. We can build it right here. I'm going to actually dig out 6 blocks high so that we'll have plenty of room to work above it. The only other thing to note is the coat closet area, I think is what I called it back here. I went ahead and just threw down some nether wart because that's really the only other thing that's going to be of a challenge for us. Well, I say that, probably our biggest challenge is going to be eventually, if I keep using this thing a ton, is going to be making the glistering melons, because that's going to require that we have a decent supply of gold. And since I don't have a gold farm and I really don't want to make one, I'm not really sure what to do about that. So anyway, in the interest of time, I'm going to shut up for once, and I'm going to go ahead and start building this thing. And I think what I'm going to do, again, in the interest of time, is I mentioned I wasn't really going to try and do too much of a tutorial on how to build this thing, but I will show it to you. I think I'm going to try and do a bunch of this in kind of vignette mode, so bear with me here for a minute, and we'll go ahead and we'll get that started. Okay guys, so that's the basic melon farm setup that we've got here. If we didn't want to do anything more other than close this thing up and make it a little pretty, it would certainly work. We can plant our melons along here, and then when we pop the lever, as you could tell, you might have been able to tell, these pop down just a fraction of a second faster than the bottom ones retract, so that will crush the melons, and then these will retract and they'll be right there waiting for the water to push them on down. I have one fear, and I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to... God, man, hang on a sec. Seriously? Little schmuck. Yeah. That's right. They're going to kill him for me. Sweet. Okay, there we go. Well, let me go ahead and help them along the way. These guys are so damn noisy, and I don't feel like killing the volume. So we'll just do it that way. That is so satisfying. I'm going to go ahead and put some damage to my sword because you guys don't want to watch me kill these guys. At least I don't think you do. I don't want to watch me kill these guys, so it's so easy to get addicted to just doing that though because they just fall so damn fast. Alright, let's see, what was I saying here? There's one thing that I want to address here really fast. There's a little bit of a bug that I've noticed with this. Good grief, man. Little bit of a bug that I have noticed with this design, and I'm not sure exactly what causes it, but sometimes when the glowstone pops back up, if there are any plants planted in the back, it always seems like it's on this side, the back four, will get unplanted. So I'm hoping that I have this on the right orientation. This is the only thing I can guess is it's an orientation issue. So I'm hoping that this is the right orientation for that to not happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and fall in the hole here. I'm gonna go ahead and give this thing a little try here and see if things stay in the ground, because if they don't, this is gonna get really annoying really quick. I'll still probably keep it, I'll still probably use it, but it'll be annoying because every time I pop the plants, or every time I pop the melons, then I'll have to go replant the plants. So alright, so that works there. Sweet. Okay, good deal. The only place I can confirm for sure that I have seen that has been on a multiplayer server, so maybe it's just a server issue as opposed to something that I can reliably expect. What the... Check that freaky looking magic glare out. That's just where two of them are over top of each other, I think, but that was cool looking. Alright, either that or it's like the ultimate Minecraft armor, must find out. Okay. God. So many skeletons, so many drops. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to speedily grow those suckers for us because there's no reason not to. We've got so much bone meal. There's no way I'm ever going to use all that stuff up, guys. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But we may as well let this thing start doing some work for us, right? So, because we're going to need plenty of glistering melons so that we can take those guys out as easily as we just did and get the massive little XP charge. But yeah, okay. I'm going to go ahead and probably actually going to get some sleep. It's kind of late where I am right now, but I will come back in here tomorrow and we will go down in here and we'll build the timing thing and all that good stuff, so that we can make sure that we have lots of easy melons. We can come down here and just hit a button and harvest a whole mess of them. So that is our goal, and that's what we'll do tomorrow. Alright, so I've cleaned up the melon farm here a little bit. Can't really recall how cruddy it looked when you guys saw it last, but I did feel the need to do a little tiny bit more, at least to make that cleaned up. You know, these skeletons are driving me nuts. I don't know if you guys can hear them or not, but I can, and hopefully that'll help a little bit. Yeah, so I cleaned that up a little bit, and then I also dug out a little bit of space down here for us to work. So I'm hopeful that yeah, that I've cleared out enough room. I left this block in here just because I had a torch on it, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this in pieces. So what I'll start with is, this is my signal that travels down from the switch that currently is powering this thing on and off when I pop it. So I'm going to want to build my T flip-flop, so I think I'm going to start that right here. I'm not going to mess around with taking up any room. I want to try and make this thing as compact as I possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of get started building that thing out right here. I think I've built this a few times in my world, so I'm not going to try and explain to you guys what I'm doing. I think you probably already know by now how these things work. But yeah, that would just like not be me to not chat a little bit, huh? So anyway, what'll happen is I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version. Hello. If I can place a redstone torch anyway. What'll happen is when we hit when we replace that switch lever up there with a button, when we hit the button, it will send a brief signal to the, I guess, powering or unpowering these torches, which will then flip where this block is, and that is what we'll use to pull power out of there. So basically we're going to turn our button push into a lever push. So if we were to hit it, if that were a lever and we were to hit it right now, it would flip this thing back to the other side, and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just in looking at what I've got here, I'm going to go on a limb and say I have nowhere near enough room, so I'm probably going to go off camera and I'll dig out some more of the stone here. Maybe I'll try and block it out with some dirt here, so I can make sure that when I come back I'm not going oops or anything like that. So anyway, I will be right back. Alright guys, I think I've cleared out enough space in here now, so let's go ahead and get this thing built. I went ahead and I placed these blocks down. These are going to be my the blocks that I'm going to feed power into from my comparators, there and there, and then this will be my hopper timer. Oops, helps to hold down shift. Helpful tip from me to you. I don't know how many times you guys see me do that the wrong way. Probably in the dozens, family. So alright, so there's that. Then we've got to get, I need 2 of those. There's some extra stuff going on here, I'm not sure why, but anyway, I'm sure I will figure it out. That's our redstone dust. That's going to be sticky piston, and then this is going to be our little hopper timer here. So if we put one item in here, we should get this thing doing that more times than I want to hear. So there we go. So that's going to be that part of it. Then we're also going to need to feed this redstone signal from this back around to here. Do I want to lock it? I think I want to lock this side if I'm not mistaken. Let's put it this way, I'm going to lock this side, and hopefully I'm not mistaken. So that's going to put a lock on it when this thing is not on. So right now it would be freely passing stuff back and forth. So then the next thing we've got to do is we've got to feed our power off of here, so that when this redstone block gets over here, we'll get our signal. Now I got to remember what I did. Always the hard part. I think, now can I just feed that in? I think I can just do this. I don't think I need to do anything funky with that part of it anyway. Yeah, I think that'll work. So then the next thing we've got to do is we got to be able to turn this thing off, because the way that it stands now, when we hit the button, it would flip-flop this thing, turn that thing off, and then leave it off, and it would never turn back on. So at this point we've got to pull our signal out from this same signal here, so that when that does get it, then it relocks that thing and we're only passing stuff back and forth. Alright guys, just gave this some thought, and I think I'm going to try and use the height here to see if I can't pull this thing around this way. This way I'll only use one repeater, so when that powers, we'll feed power into this block, and then we'll carry this signal up here and over all this mess. So that way I don't have to worry about what's going on at the ground level. Yep, you know what, buddy? You're getting out of there. Thanks for the light, but yeah, I'll relight this stuff in a minute because I know I've got some low light areas, or at least I'm pretty sure I do. Now I'm wondering if I can bring this over here. I'd like to have it down another level too. The problem is I'm over top of that. No, I'm not over top of that redstone line. Okay. Let's see if I can get away with... No, that won't feed in properly. Well, we can feed our signal into that line again. Okay. I think I've got this figured out, guys. Unless I put the block down here, that torch is good, not causing a problem. I thought he was going to have some crosswire, but looks like we're good. So I'll feed that down here, and then I will feed this into that redstone with a repeater. So it should just be one way. I think that'll work. Let's go ahead and find out really fast. We'll just do it with a little lever here. I just need to be able to see what the redstone is doing. I think we'll pull power out of that block with that repeater. Yes, looks good. Except now we've got a weird loop going. So, okay. Maybe it's just because I flipped the lever too quickly. I'll take a look at this, guys, and get it sorted out, and I'll just show you what I arrive with, because I'm not sure this is going to work any better, really. Okay, guys, I think I got this figured out. I kind of tore this thing apart a few ways and then kept going back to putting it back in the way that I had it. The only thing that I did differently was I threw this repeater in here facing this way, which obviously when this thing powers up, it keeps the signal from running back around through here and then repowering itself. The only thing that was a little bit tricky was setting this thing up. I have my blocks in here, but I kept on having problems where I couldn't get it to lock properly, and it was because this redstone block was on the wrong side. So if you are trying to build this thing and you get this all set up and for some reason this just keeps flip-flopping back and forth and you can't figure it out and you know you've built it right and you've done everything right, break the redstone block, and if it's over here on this side where it's powering things, move it over here where it's not, and then put your items back in. I think I put them in this hopper and they immediately started feeding over, but it did lock then at that point. So I think that's got us built there. So let's go ahead and we'll hop up out of here and give this thing a test. I don't think I have any melons in there, but I do know I have a bunch of skeletons over there. They've been driving me crazy. I can hear them. Oh, I can see a couple of them. They're actually down low even. So yeah, we're going to chuck a potion at those guys in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and replace that. Let's use a stone button actually for it. I like the shorter length that we're going to get off of the stone button. I don't know if it's going to make a difference or not, but I'm going with it, and we'll see if it works or not. It's a little trial and error, so if this doesn't work, I'm not going to be too upset. I will feel a little sheepish, but that's good. As you can tell by the 46 melons that are in there, I've been trying this thing out a few times. Okay, so that didn't work at all, did it? Okay, well, let me get a peek down there and see what's going on. And actually, before I do that, let's have a little fun with these skeletons over here, and let's see if I can get a potion out here before they shoot me. No, my God. There's a bunch of them in there. Holy cow. Oh, they're shooting each other now. Let's help them. Wow. That's a lot of mobs. Okay, so I'm level 40 now. Oh my. Wow. I have no idea how many skeletons were in there, or even are in there now, but that's crazy. I'm going to go ahead and pitch this stuff. Wow. Good grief, look at all this junk. See, that's why these things are so awesome. There's just so much crap you can pull out of them. I'm just going to go ahead and get some wear and tear on the sword here and take out the rest of these guys, because I know they're armored and they're going to be thorned up and all that good stuff. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to say by the bobbing items we're not completely full. It's just too slow to keep up with it. Alright, well there we go. Alright, I'm going to go AFK and take a look down below, see if I can't figure out why that is flip-flopping faster than I need and or want it to. So I will be right back. Alright guys, man, this is problematic. It's late here or something, man, I'm not sure. Figured out my problem. I do not need these 3 redstone dust here, so I don't know what I was thinking, but I went back and kind of retraced my steps of what's supposed to happen when I hit the button and found myself going, wait, why is that there? Because what's supposed to happen is we hit the button, which this is simulating, the signal goes down here, it makes the T flip-flop, flip-flop, which unlocks back here. And that's the only bad part about this is you gotta wait for these things to pass over and then they pass back here. Okay, and now it opens up. So it takes same like the time that it takes to leave it open and have the water flood all your items down is how long it takes before that actually kicks off and powers up, and then it flip-flops again back and that relocks, and that's when your ground and everything goes back up so that you can grow more melons. So yeah, it looks like that is working properly now. I can go ahead and hit this button from up here, and there you go, like I mentioned. It'll wait a little bit, and then as soon as it's done thinking about it, which like I said takes I think I've got it set to about 15 seconds or so, maybe it's a little longer than that, 20 seconds or so. There we go. And I think I have 30 items. I'm trying to eat redstone. That's not a smart thing to do. I think I have 30 items in my hopper timer down there, and that seems to be enough time for that to do its thing and pass all the melons down. It just so happened when I ran my first test to make sure that this actually worked, there was actually a melon all the way in the back, so I was able to get a good test on that. And yeah, so I have 30 items in there, and that seems to be enough time to send all the melons from the very back of the farm all the way to the very front of the farm, and then they get picked up by the hoppers there before everything closes itself back up. So, alright, I know this has been a pretty long video. I think even with my vignette I'll probably have to do a lot of cutting on that, which you guys won't know about, but you'll see the shorter version of it than you probably would have, which you'll probably be going, thank God. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call this a video. So if you liked what you saw, please leave me a like. It does help out the channel a bunch. And if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe, and I'll keep putting these things out, and if you keep watching them. So in the meantime, I'm going to kill some skeletons. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these levels, but I'll figure something fun out, and I'll see you guys next time.